Hello, I'm Laura Marshall.
And I'm Melinda Rose, and this is Light Matters for January 2nd, 2013. Happy New Year, everyone.
On this edition of Light Matters, a new computer model is based on bosons, flexible solar cells show great appeal, light turns to sound and then to a scalpel, and Invest in Photonics shows VCs where to put their money.
Despite widespread research and the many press releases issued this year about quantum computers, no one has built a machine that harnesses the power of atoms and molecules to solve computational problems faster than a classical silicon-based machine. Now scientists from universities in Australia and England have developed a new kind of machine called a boson sampling computer. Although not believed to solve problems as efficiently as a full quantum computer could, boson sampling computers are still faster than today's machines and can be much easier to build experimentally with existing photonic technology. Boson sampling requires three main ingredients: single bosons or photons, the large-scale linear manipulation of bosons, and single boson-sensitive detectors. In their experiment, Oxford University's Justin Spring and colleagues used single photons and quantum interference to perform a calculation believed to be very difficult on a classical computer. In a separate experiment, Matthew Broom and colleagues at the University of Queensland sent a handful of single photons through a photonic network and sampled how often they exited the network outputs. Notably, these experiments did not require quantum logic operations, unlike a general quantum computer, which should make them much more feasible to implement on a larger scale. The research appears in Science.
Unlike their stiff, inflexible cousins, new peel-and-stick thin-film solar cells can be stripped off like Band-Aids and stuck to virtually any surface, from paper to window panes. Developed at Stanford University, these solar cells also do not require direct fabrication on the final carrier substrate, avoiding all of the challenges associated with putting solar cells on unconventional materials and vastly expanding their potential applications. The rise of thin-film photovoltaics promised to inject some flexibility into the technology, but scientists found that using alternative substrates was problematic because they typically have irregular surfaces and don't respond well to the necessary thermal and chemical processing. The Stanford peel-and-stick process gives thin-film solar cells flexibility and greater attachment potential while also reducing their cost and weight. So far, the new cells have been attached to paper, plastic, and window glass, among other materials, all without losing any of the original cell efficiency. The Stanford method is also done without modifying any existing processes, facilities, or materials, making them commercially viable. The research is described in scientific reports.
Converting light to sound with a nanotube-coated lens can create finer ultrasound waves than ever before, and the new optoacoustic technique could someday be honed to create an invisible blade for non-invasive and maybe even painless microsurgery. In therapeutic ultrasound, focused sound waves regularly blast apart kidney stones and prostate tumors. The tools work primarily by focusing sound waves tightly enough to generate heat. The problem is that ultrasound beams can be unwieldy, with a bulky focal spot that makes it difficult to target tissue in a highly precise manner. University of Michigan researchers achieved a superfine beam, enhancing focal accuracy 100-fold by using an optoacoustic approach that converts light from a pulse laser to high-amplitude sound waves through a specially designed lens, concentrating the waves to a spec just 75 by 400 microns. The sound waves create shock waves and microbubbles in tissues that exert pressure toward a target, which could be tiny cancerous tumors, artery-clogging plaques, or single cells to deliver drugs. Pain-free surgery could also be possible with the technique because the beam is so finely focused that it could avoid nerve fibers. It hasn't yet been tested in animals or humans, however. So far, experiments have demonstrated micro-ultrasonic surgery accurately detaching a single ovarian cancer cell and blasting a hole less than 150 microns in an artificial kidney stone in less than a minute. The work was published in scientific reports, and the team will also present it in February at SPIE Photonics West in San Francisco.
With a global market that experts predict could grow 8 to 10% annually to reach 480 billion euros by 2015, photonics is on the rise. And the recent Invest in Photonics convention in France revealed just where venture capitalists should focus their attention: zettabyte data communications, diagnostic healthcare, competitive manufacturing, and sustainable clean energy. As an enabling technology, photonics can be difficult to segment as it is often commercialized outside of its industry. This makes it challenging for VCs to evaluate opportunities. That's why the two-day International Business Partnering Convention was created, to keep VCs informed about the future of photonics, backing up predictions with market data from various economic sectors. Attendance rose about 20% this year to 150 people from across Europe, the US, and Asia. Analysts and speakers focused on the fast growth markets of consumer goods, clean tech, and healthcare, as well as the influence of Asia.
And several speakers discussed the growing market potential for lasers, particularly fiber lasers, which are being adopted faster than any other laser technology in history.
Yeah, and another hot technology highlighted was the LED, especially for lighting. Analysts also acknowledged the lead that many Asian companies have in certain areas of photonics, such as AMOLEDs.
Well, that's it for this edition of Light Matters, Photonics Media's weekly newscast.
We'd love to hear from you. Write to us at lightmatters@photonics.com.
Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week.